Alycats and you viewers. So today I'm reviewing Mass Effect Andromeda. I know, people are like, hey, hold up Alyssa, Mass Effect Andromeda came out forever ago. I just finished it, okay? It's a freaking long game. And it does have its pros, it does have its cons. And I want to get into both of those with this review. But overall, I loved Mass Effect Andromeda. I had so much fun with this game. And it kept me glued. I played it every single day since its release for about 2 hours a day or so, sometimes 4 hours a day. But I had so much fun with this game. I would say if you're a fan of the previous Mass Effect games, definitely play Mass Effect Andromeda, give it a shot. Let's get into the pros and cons. I'm going to start with the cons of this game just because you need to know about these if you haven't played it yet. Yes, the facial animations are kind of wonky. They fixed the majority of the animations with the 1.05 patch, but when the game came out, the animations were pretty terrible, and the lip syncing sometimes didn't match up, and people just made weird faces like I do in my Instagram photos. Like, they were making those kinds of faces. It was hilarious, but it was kind of like, what the hell's going on? But with the patch, most of that has been fixed. Occasionally it'll still go a little wonky and you're like, whoa. But overall, they fixed the issues with the facial animations. But I will admit, they were wonky. And also, throughout the whole game, even after the patch, I noticed texture pop in. Like, when I was driving the Nomad, which is the vehicle you drive in Mass Effect Andromeda, I was driving it across the planet and trees and bushes and enemies would just pop up out of nowhere. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, it wasn't there. Like, the planet wasn't fully formed while I was driving through it. It was forming as I was driving through it, and the texture pop-in was just crazy. And I did have my game hard freeze 3 times during my playthrough, which, considering I played this game for about 80 hours, that's not that big a deal. But it was annoying to have my game hard freeze and for me to have to turn off my Xbox, put the game back in after I turned the Xbox back on, and start from wherever it happened to have last saved. It was annoying, and I've heard people have had way more experiences of that happening than I have. I played it on Xbox One, by the way. I've heard a lot of people had issues with the PS4 version. I don't know if the same stuff was happening on Xbox One or if the PS4 version was more bug-ridden. I don't know. But I've heard a lot of complaints of the PS4 version, just letting you guys know. Also, the enemies in this game don't feel like a major threat. In the previous Mass Effect games, you were dealing with the Reapers, and they were just these big, indomitable threats that felt like they were impossible to bring down, but you knew you had a small shot. With the Ket, which are the enemies in this game, they kind of just feel like bugs you can squash under your heel, and they're kind of just, like, annoying. Like, they're kind of gnats that fly in your face, and you have to, like, swat at them all the time. But other than that, you're kind of like, it's just a little gnat. That's what the Ket are like for me personally. They just weren't that appealing of an enemy. Like, they looked fantastic, like the design of the Ket were amazing. The actual Ket themselves were more an annoyance than a threat. And that disappointed me because I was so used to the Reapers being just such this massive threat in the previous Mass Effect games, that the Ket don't live up to them. I will admit that. And I'll also admit that a lot of the quests in Mass Effect Andromeda became repetitive, because in this game, you are going to 5 different planets and raising the viability levels of these planets so people can live on them. And to do this, you have to activate vaults and activate purification fields, and doing this over and over and over and over and over again did become repetitive, and those were my least favorite missions. The vault missions were just samey. You had to find glyphs, you had to defeat remnants, which are some more enemies in this game, and then you did the vault. So those are my main gripes for this game. The animation was pretty bad before the patch, and even after the patch it kind of was still iffy. Texture pop-in was crazy in this game. My game hard crashed 3 times. 3 times! It was freaking annoying. And then the enemies themselves, the Ket and the Remnant to a degree, were just annoying. They weren't really threats. They were just kind of like, I gotta kill more of these motherfuckers. Now let's get on to the positive things about Mass Effect Andromeda, the things I loved. First up, Ryder. I felt more connected to Ryder than I did with Commander Shepard, and I loved my FemShep, okay? But I felt so connected to Ryder. I made her look almost exactly like me. Not really, but she's way hotter than me, trust me. But I loved Ryder, and I love the fact that they got rid of the Paragon Renegade system because the dialogue choices felt more natural. You could choose to be more emotional, more professional, more goofy, or, you know, just kind of this, like, blah person. And most of the time, I chose to either be emotional or professional, but sometimes I was like, you know what? I feel like being goofy. I'm going to choose the goofy option. I was never the blah option, just because I'm not a blah person. But Ryder felt like me. She felt like an amalgamation of me, and I love that. And I love the fact that Ryder has this backstory, and if you dig deep enough, you can find out more about his or her backstory, depending on which gender you choose. And you can decide who to romance. Just like in the previous Mass Effect games, you can romance people. And I actually had a little bit of fun with romancing. In the previous games, I romanced Cayde and Alenko in the first and third Mass Effect, and I romanced Jacob in the second. But in this one, I had casual sex with Peavy, flirted with Suvi, and then I ultimately decided to bang Liam. So I had fun with the romance options in this one just because I was like, you know what, I'm going to be a flirt, okay? I'm going to be this amazing woman who has a lot of options, a lot of good looking options. I'm going to explore those options. So I did, and I had a lot of fun. I have no regrets. Also, I love the planets themselves. Like, yes, the texture pop-in was annoying as hell, but the planets were so detailed and each was different. Like, there's one planet, Vold, which is an ice planet. There's Kadara, which is a planet of outlaws, and it has these lush desert environments. Then Eos, which is almost completely like a barren desert world, but it's your first planet you go to, and it's amazing. And then there's Aya, just this amazing metropolis you go to that at first you're locked out of, but then you gain access, and it's just so gorgeous. And then there's Havarl, which is my least favorite planet, even though it's really stunning and beautiful. You can't drive the Nomad on Havarl, and the map of Havarl, this is another con, was just annoying. You couldn't tell what was above ground, below ground. It was just annoying, but Havarl was also an interesting planet because it's always nighttime there, and it was just such a lush planet. And I just thought the planet design was really, really unique and cool and beautiful. Like, the graphics for the most part in this game are stunning. Like, you could frame a lot of the shots in this game and hang them on your wall because they're that beautiful. Now let's get on to your teammates. I didn't have the same connection I did with my previous teammates in the previous Mass Effect games, but that's to be expected. This is a new game, new characters, it's separate from the previous Mass Effect games. So of course you're not going to have the same bond you had with Garrus and Miranda and Tali and Rex and all the rest of those crew members. But in Andromeda, I loved Peavy, I loved Liam, I loved Gil, I loved Drac. I loved Lexi DePero. I loved everyone on this crew, and I formed a connection with them by the end of this game. And I had all my crew members maxed out fully, which, another little niggle here, but when you max out your characters, like, you can continue to put points into your growth and development, even when you reach, like, level 60 like I did. But when your teammates are fully leveled up, they keep accruing points, but you can't spend them, which I'm thinking this is probably going to flow over into DLC or even a sequel to this game, because I feel like there could be a sequel to this game, guys, and I hope there's DLC, because I love this game. But you can make your characters who you want to make them, and it was just so cool, and I formed a bond with every single character, even the ones that weren't in my battle crew, I still felt an attachment to. Plus, there's so many different options for quests in this game. There are so many side quests, you'll be like, ah! Because there's a ton. There's a ton. It takes forever to do every single side quest, but I did it. I did it because I'm a perfectionist. But there are so many different, unique quests to go on, and the loyalty missions. In previous games, loyalty missions determined whether your crew member was on your side or if they'd be more rebellious. In this game, it just tightens your bond with your crew members, and they're multi-step quests, but overall they add a unique flavor to the game, and they're so much fun to do. Every single loyalty mission was so much fun. There was funny dialogue, there were awesome action set pieces. It was just a lot of fun to do the loyalty missions. And some of the side quests were kind of like, chores. Like, I gotta scan rocks, I have to pick plant samples, but there were a lot that were so much fun. Like, you had to find relics for this certain person, or you had to scan dead bodies to find out how they died, and that added flavor and fun to the game. It just was just so much fun to do all the side quests, and there were so many side quests that it literally took me probably 75 hours to do the main quest because I kept doing side quests. The main quest itself, it's good. It's not the best. Again, going back to the previous Mass Effects, it doesn't live up to their main quests. But overall, it was a satisfying quest story, and I liked the ending of the game. The ending was really, really good. And I enjoyed making the planets viable besides the Remnant Vault tech stuff. Like, I liked making these planets into a hospitable place for people to live, and I loved interacting with the citizens that decided to live on those planets, and then to get even more quests from them once they inhabited the planets. And I also liked visiting the Nexus. Yeah, there are a lot of really annoying citizens that didn't appreciate my hard work and effort, but there were also some really cool quests on the Nexus, which is kind of your hub world, where you get to meet with your higher-ups, and you get to meet with citizens, and you get to just kind of just walk around and see what's going on in the game. You can find out what's happening and all this kind of stuff. And also, there are a few nods to the previous Mass Effect games in this game, but I'm not going to say what they are because they're so much fun to find, and they just make you giddy with glee. Also, something about this game that is really good is the fact that since this is a new game, it doesn't have the characters from the previous games, it doesn't have the storyline from the previous games. You don't have to play the previous Mass Effect games to play Andromeda. You might want to just so you can get used to that feeling of, you know, going on massive quests, exploring planets and stuff like that, but you don't have to have played the previous Mass Effect games. So if you're worried about that, don't have to worry, because again, this is a totally new universe, it's a totally new time period, totally new characters, totally new storyline, so you can play Andromeda without having played the previous games. So overall, I really enjoyed Mass Effect Andromeda. Does it have its flaws? Yes. Is it the best Mass Effect game out of the franchise? No. I will admit that. But it was really fun. There were so many side quests. I connected with my personal writer way more than I connected with Femshep, which I'm really ashamed to admit, kind of. I loved the beautiful, beautiful graphics of the game. I loved the planets and how you made them into a home. I adored the conversation choices. I adored how you could level up your character. I adored my crew members. I loved the majority of this game, and I don't regret spending 80 hours and leveling up to level 60 because I had so much fun during the entire ride. So, for Mass Effect Andromeda, I'd personally give it a score of 8 out of 10 just because, again, I had fun. It has flaws, but I had fun, which is more important in my opinion. So let me know if you've played Mass Effect Andromeda down below in the comment box. Let me know if you liked it, if you hated it. What are your opinions on it? Because I want to know. If you liked this video, leave a like. Make sure to share it if you liked it because that helps my channel grow. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, but you like what you've seen and heard, hit my face over here. That'll send you to my channel. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell down there because you'll be a part of the Alycat notification squad where you get extra cool points, and that's about it. Besides the fact that you're always notified of a video or a live stream or whatever when I post it. But, cool points! Yeah! Join today! And if you'd like to follow me on social media sites, they're all listed down below in the description box. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Peace and kisses. Bye!